What's up? What's up, y'all? We are here. We are back. We are back with another episode of The Buzz Behind the Music. Today we're going to be speaking with Victory, Rock Nation Grammy Award-winning artist. Super excited to be speaking with Victory tonight. Let me bring this in a little bit here. Yeah, super excited to be speaking with Victory. What you guys are hearing there is our new intro music. Shout out to Sean Keys, the Smooth Keys that created this for us, commissioned him to create this for us. Super excited about this new track as well too. But yeah, man, we're gonna be speaking with Victory tonight, so I'm gonna get into a few little updates here before we bring her in. How are you guys doing so far this Friday? Turn this down a bit. Good. If you guys are in here, you can hear me. How you're doing? Drop something in the comments. Let me know. Hey, Collins, what's happening? How are you? All right, so we just got back from Stellar Award week. I mean, for anyone that has been in the gospel industry, you know Stellar Awards, biggest night in gospel music. So we just came back there from Stellar Awards week. Super exciting week overall. I mean, the gospel industry came out, everyone supported, everyone came out. It was just really great. Everyone showed love. We got the cover press at a bunch of different events. I mean, check our page. We've been posting on our socials. We've been posting on our YouTube. It's gonna be sharing this. We've been posting on our YouTube. We've been posting a bunch of places. So definitely want to make sure y'all go ahead and check those out. So a few updates. New music, again, just came off Stellars. Stellars are going to be airing August. So make sure you set all of your reminders and everything for that airing date. A few quick music here. I know Erica Campbell released her remix to Positive. So that's going to be coming. She also, well, that released today actually, but she announced the release of her new project called I Love You, and that's coming in September. Who else got some new music? Kalante Gavin, yes, released his new project, Testify. We got Vashawn Mitchell, Dante Bowe released his self-titled project today as well. Daniel Ojo, Kimberly Ade released their track, Jesus. Renee Pullum and Renwick Dewsbury released Great and Mighty. Cam Sakar released My Therapy Couch. Again, we're going to be adding all of these to our playlist, so definitely make sure you guys check all of those out. But that's it for updates. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. I see Victory is in here. If you guys are coming in, share this. Hey Kim, how are you? Because you definitely want to be a part of this conversation. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Victory now. Let's see here. Victory, you can send me a request. Actually, I'm gonna invite you to join. Give me 1 second. Invite. All right, invite just went through.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
How are you hearing me? Am I coming in good?
how you doing? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Well, happy Friday. I know you're probably back and well rested and relaxed from coming off of an amazing stellar week. So how are you doing?
Uh, doing well. Actually, the Stellar Awards ended a 7-week run for me. That was like the icing on the cake. But I flew into the Stellars straight
Oh,
from
wow.
Europe, and I was in Europe for like 12 days, and so it was like I was super jet lagged, but
You did
but we did
indeed.
it. We did it.
We're gonna definitely get into that. We're gonna talk about that. I know you got some additional travel and stuff slated for the ending of the year. We want to definitely cover everything from that perspective, but definitely want to just kind of dial it back again. Thank you for, coming on this show. I know we spoke briefly on the red carpet of the Stellar Awards. Everything was just going so fast, moving back and forth. You came over, so thank you for stopping by us. We chatted for a little bit, but definitely we wanted to have a much more, fulsome conversation. Again, you're just released your new project, sophomore project, Glory Hour. That's out right now, available everywhere. Your first gospel project, if I'm not mistaken. And that's
Yes.
huge in it of itself as well. So we wanted to, just kind of have a conversation around that. But I know your start in music, or your start rather when you got signed, not start in music, I would say, or have you share your story when you got signed in music, I mean, when you got started in music, but also when you got signed to Rock Nation, because I know it's an interesting story how all of that even came to being, but just your start in music in general. You want to start there with us?
Sure, yeah. So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I have 8 siblings and two amazing parents. And the way that I describe Detroit, like people that are from Detroit, um, because the environment in the 90s was um, there were a lot
Hmm.
of traps for young people. A lot of times when people are from Detroit, they either fell in those traps, or they were either extremely sheltered, their parents were extremely disciplined and playing no games. So you either came out really, really great or really, really bad.
What
It's
are
like
the
one or
other?
the exactly, exactly. Um, and so my parents homeschooled me and my 8 siblings. We were in church all the time, because the alternative, a lot of other kids, ended up in the streets, ended up, um, you know, in all the unfortunate things that happened to people that didn't have very meticulous parents that were overseeing. And so my parents founded the Boys and Girls Choirs of Detroit, and I got to join that choir at 4 years old. And but the thing is, the rule was you had to be 6 years old to join the choir. And so they broke the rules for me, not because they were trying to be
Mhm.
favoritists, but I kept begging them, like, please give me the chance to sing. Music to me was a privilege, not a right. I didn't I didn't like deserve to sing because I was 4 and not 6. I wasn't qualified to sing, all the things, but somehow I still believed that I was born to. And so my parents broke the rules eventually after so much persistence from me, and they gave me the chance to sing at 4 years old. And I took that chance, and I've been proving myself ever since.
Mhm.
And so that's how I started in music. Um, and I took it seriously as like a career at 4 years old. And um, my family, my brothers and sisters, just separately from
Uh-huh.
singing with the choir, as a family, we were always singing as well. Um, Singing, and here's the thing: it wasn't a church choir, though we did sing
Hmm.
sacred music. Um, a lot of my life has been very much rooted in the gospel, rooted in the faith of the Christian faith, but for the most part,
Okay.
operating outside of the church. Um, and so, um, fast forward when we migrated to New York as a family, again, we were singing. Um, we took our music straight to the streets. We started doing
Okay.
what is called busking,
Okay. That's a
and
term
that's
I've
when
never
you,
heard before. Okay.
yeah, you sing. Okay, so busking, another term is street performing, but essentially the street becomes your stage, and your talent, you have to earn an
Mm.
audience from your talent. Everyone is busy going to and fro. If you're not talented, you're not getting an audience. And if you don't get an audience, you're
That's
not getting
true.
any money. And so,
I see that at Penn Station all the time, or when I'm walking through 42nd Street. If it's really good, I'm going to stop and I will turn back and I will give money. So you're 100% correct about that.
exactly, exactly. It's 42nd Street. We used to be up in that station, 42nd Street station in New York. And so, New York, we took our music to the
Wow.
streets, and we did that for 10 years. And yeah, just about every day. And I was 12 when we started that in New York, and I was 22 when I got signed. And so that was 10 years. And but it was 10 years, it was like a, at least 8 years in Michigan before coming to New York. So it's a good 20 years of consistent music just about every day by the time I got signed. And but here's the thing, once you get signed, that's not the destination. That's
This is
just
true.
the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning.
certainly.
That's another new beginning. And so but you know, it life has all these cycles, you know. You're always starting at the beginning somewhere, you know. And if you're humble and you're not afraid of um
Hmm.
beginning again, you'll be able to reach a lot of different mountains. Um, it's like, for example, I was just in Europe, and I'd never officially performed in Europe
Wow. Okay.
till this last time, but it was kind of disheartening because it felt like I
Mm.
was beginning again. And it's like, like it was, you know, it's like I've worked my whole life only to begin again and for nobody to know who I am. Or, and even in gospel, like there at the Stellars, it felt like I
Yeah.
was beginning
Yeah.
again. It's like, I've been signed for for so long. I've been in this industry. I've been doing music. I've been doing all these things. But most of the people in this room have never heard of me, you know. And but here's the thing, you know, you're not a when you're not afraid to be at, you know, to begin again, you'll move faster from that stage of
It's true.
infancy in whatever journey you begin, in whatever journey you embark on. And so that's kind
But
of
you know,
my
you
experience.
touch on a few different things, right? The beginning again concept, 100%, I agree with that because that also allows you to kind of just, you know, take a step back and see the room, read the room, understand what's really happening there. So I think that is a great idea, no matter how, you know, how far or what someone has done, just to kind of come in sober-headed on that standpoint. But also, I think one of the first time when I saw, at least when you came across our feed, was Donald Lawrence posted when you released your
Mm.
project. He posted it, and Donald had amazing creds in the industry. Donald is saying this person is legit. Trust and believe they're legit. So your cosigns were coming from like people that are just highly regarded. So when I first saw that, I was like, oh, let me go check out this album. And I checked it out, and my first response, I was like, wow, what am I hearing? It's like so many different mixtures. You know, you're hearing some folk, blues, pop, soul. Like it's just, and it's so rich and so authentic, and it's just, you know, it was very refreshing. You know, it's biblical. You have scriptural stuff, even when you were singing. You know, Psalms 91, which I don't think I can ever read that scripture again and not want to play the song. I'm just gonna say that. So I'm just gonna have to play that while I'm reading it on the go forward because that just was gonna have to happen. But you know, so I think that by itself, and then you know, knowing that you were performing at the Stellars and you know, at least starting again with the beginning again, because on their AT&T emerging artist stage, a lot of artists pass through there as a rite of passage. Like Doe did that when Jonathan was hosting, and several others, Jabbar Johnson, several others in the industry that went on and doing amazing things, all kind of started through that. I think that's also a good, you know, a good starting point as well, just from there to just reintroduction, you know, reintroduce into the genre, doing the first project. I see Carlos Hale there as well, heavy in the gospel music space. Carlos said, I love her music. A few other people were commenting before saying they will definitely stop if they were to hear you and your family singing in New York. They would stop and they would give you guys money because you're super talented. So that, you know, but I think that for me at least it was great to see because that also showed me, even from a stellar standpoint, that they're bringing in different diverse songs, right? Everything doesn't necessarily have to lean or
Mm.
sung in that same direction. So I feel like you know, that to me was just amazing. Now, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing in that I don't take it lightly that they created a space for me, though my sound is unique, you know. It really speaks to, and I heard Jonathan McReynolds say this. He said he's excited about this kind of thing because
Yes.
it says that there's a future in the gospel music genre. And so, and I honestly think that, you know, this is just the beginning. There are so many really, really amazing artists that whose message is the gospel, but whose sound is more unique than the traditional
Mhm.
gospel sound. And I think that if we evolve the the industry of gospel to be about supporting whoever carries the message of the gospel, really, I mean, it's going to really change. We would change the world because there's so many artists that need
Of
the
course.
infrastructure and the support of the industry, but they're not necessarily called to compromise their unique sound. And so I think that this is a good direction that the Stellars are going in, just by allowing me to have
Yeah,
90
yeah.
seconds on the show. And so, yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
No, you mentioned unique, unauthentic song, right? Because as I'm going back and I'm preparing for this interview and just reading, because I was fascinated just about your song and music and everything. And, you know, there was a story that I saw somewhere that when you got signed to Rock Nation and you met with Jay-Z, there was something that he said to you and your, you know, might have been your family, might have been just your dad, but when you met with him during the signing, there's something he kind of mentioned to you. Do you mind rehashing? I know it's probably, you know, 5+ years ago, but do you mind rehashing that? Because I think that's important to get out there as well.
Yeah, I think you're referring to a statement he said you guys are gold, and you need to know that you're gold, and it's not your job to catch up to us. It's our job to catch up to you, to learn who you are and catch up to who you are. And so him just saying that right at the beginning of the partnership really set the tone for us to feel confident in being ourselves and not feel like there's a pressure for us to conform to the culture that is Rock Nation, but they are willing to submit to the culture that is who we are. And so I think that really is the that was really a historic moment and statement. You know, it's not necessarily, I mean, yes, the partnership was and is a big deal, but bigger than that was the posture in which the
Uh-huh.
partnership happened. And so yeah, and that's why we were able to
Make it work
yeah,
and just kind
make it
of
work.
be comfortable with what you were doing in that light as well. Now, from a so you know you mentioned you know you have eight siblings and you know you guys are doing music together. You've you know brought up you've been in music all along. So did you ever see it going in any other direction? You've always known music. You're always wanting to do music. You mentioned you know 10+ years even before being signing and many other years before that. Did you ever see yourself, maybe I probably want to think about doing something else, or was it just, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to go after, and you kind of already knew that, you know, this is the path you're going to take?
Um, yeah, we pretty much knew, pretty much me and all my siblings. We worked we worked too hard for it. You know, after a certain point, it just becomes, you know, you're in too deep to start changing up now. It's like you shouldn't have jumped in, you know, 10 toes deep if you weren't
Yeah.
planning on going all the way. You know, so you find yourself, you know, having invested almost every day of the first 10 years of your life, even if you're only 13,
Hmm.
that feels like, oh, like I got to get the return on all of this, you know. And so uh so yeah, that's always kind of been my thing. And again, it's never too late to start again, which I've said already. So I now have this understanding that I don't have, like, I'm still young. I could start other things, but at the same time, it's like I I have and this is where the concept of glory
Mhm.
hour comes in. If you don't hold on until the manifestation of glory comes, and you switch up, it's like the
Mm.
harvest was coming, like all the things that will answer for all of this investment that has been poured in, it's going to at the appointed time it will come if you don't give up. There's a scripture in Galatians that says, let us
Yeah.
not grow weary in doing good, for at the appointed time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up,
Yeah.
or if we faint not. And it's like, don't come all this way, sow all these seeds, only to not see what they grow into. You know what I mean? And so I'm always going to be about the reaping, like I'm always going to be about waiting for the manifestation of the glory. It's been too much darkness that has been sown, too much tears, too many years, you know. Like, that's how come I will bet on there being a glorious
That's good.
manifestation any day. Like, I know that it's coming because I know of how hard
Mhm.
it's been. Like, I know how many years it's been. I know the cost. I know all of those things. So it's just, to me, it's like a it's like a done deal, almost,
If you
if I
don't
don't
give
give
up,
up.
well, that's good.
It's contingent. You have to maintain that posture of hope and faith, you know. And sometimes the best way to not give up is just to simply stand. It's like, you might not even, like, be able to, like, do very much, but just remaining is sometimes is your
That's good. That's
not
good.
giving up.
Daily Praise TV, thank you for buying a batch. She said this is very insightful. I loved her testimony. Got a few other comments coming in. You know, you also, is something you said just now, and that's a note I had written down, because when you were speaking about the darkness, and you were talking about lighting there was one of your lyrics where you mentioned about, where one of the spoken pieces you mentioned about just light a candle of hope for faith. So just touch a little bit on that. I know you kind of started going down that path as we were talking about the new project now, Glory Hour, that's out, available everywhere. But just that posture of just lighting that candle of hope for faith.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that was kind of what I was alluding to just now. Is like, sometimes we feel hopeless because we look at how hard things are, or we look at how dark things are, and we look at how weak we are in the face of such darkness. And even if I expelled all of my energy, it would not make the darkness be obliterated. So why continue on? Why not give up if my energy is not making the
Yeah,
darkness leave? What I wanted to do with this poem is encourage people that that's not your job to make the darkness leave. Your job is to light a candle. A candle, what's the purpose of a candle? The purpose of a candle is to make it a little less dark while you wait for the sun to come and do what only the sun can do. Use all your energy to keep that candle burning until glory
yeah,
hour comes. That's it. You just have to, and the candle is hope. That's why I said light a candle of hope. So keep your hope alive. Use all your energy to keep on believing. And what are we believing in? We're believing in the hope of glory. We're believing that at the appointed time, the hope of glory, which is Christ, the Bible says, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ in you is the hope of glory. And so we're holding on to this hope that at the appointed time, the sun will come and obliterate every square inch of darkness. And we can be confident in this. We can be boastful in this. We're not boasting it. We already know we don't have the power to eradicate darkness, but we do have the power to have the hope in the one that can.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So Kim said, I've been lighting my candle for 61 years. That's awesome. You know, and we can get into, you know, a few of the songs right now. I know you mentioned in so the new project Glory Hour, one of the first songs that I actually heard from the project when I got drawn into you was Just Like in Heaven. I know Just Like in Heaven, El Shaddai, those have gained massive popularity. So just tell us a little bit of the theme that those, or the message behind what those songs convey.
Yeah, Just Like in Heaven, you know, I was all the songs really started from like a spontaneous worship moment of just me at my piano or me on my guitar. But the inspiration when I was writing Just Like in Heaven was, you know, I had just been reading this book called Hosting the Presence. It's a book written by a pastor called Bill Johnson. And I was really moved by that book. Actually, two of the songs on the album came out of a worship moment from that time when I was really reading that book. Those two songs are Just Like in Heaven and One Thing. But I just started worshiping, and when I do these spontaneous worships, sometimes it's not even words. Sometimes it's just groans. Like if I go back to this original recording, it's like almost 30 minutes long, and the first 10 minutes is me just like panting. It's like it's just that while I'm rubbing the strings of my guitar, not even really playing. It's just like and I'm really just connecting in the spirit, and I'm just like and I just keep doing this kind of like pant, and then and then and then I just start praying. um I just start praying these different things. You know, let your justice reign on earth, let your healing reign on earth, and it's just all in this pocket. You know, and it was just a holy moment with Jesus and my acoustic guitar. And then and then it was a lot of like random things in there too. I don't want to say random because that makes it sound like it's not holy. There were a lot of utterances. Utterances. There we go, that's the word, utterances, that I did not know. But what I did was I just took the essence of it and then wrote poetry inside of it, and then just like, you know, and when I finished writing the poem, I actually read it to Kanye, because at the time I was working with Kanye on not Jesus is King, but we were working on his next album. And when he heard the poem, he's like, "What's the name of this song?" And like my I didn't have a name for the song. I was just thinking of the poetry of it. And he's like, "Well, you should name the song Just Like in Heaven." I was like, "I don't know." Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't know, I didn't think of that. So then I named the song Just Like in Heaven, because that was the
Yeah.
obvious right thing to do after Kanye told me to. And then and then my brother Israel is a producer. And I asked Israel because once I had like the poetry of it down, I had the name, I had it all down. But my goal with this song is said I want all the kids to be singing
Yeah.
this prayer. All the kids. I said I don't need to be going in the singer-songwriter folk route with this song. I need somebody that know what they doing to make a beat that's hard. I literally said, and so I said I went to my brother and I said I need you to make
For
me
the kids.
something for the kids. I need all the
Yeah.
kids to be singing this prayer. Like go off. And so Israel was like, say less. And then like he always goes for the
Hmm.
aggressive things. Um anyway, it wastes no time, just goes hard. Like so and then I partnered with uh actually it's
Okay.
like three other producers as well that took what Israel did. Actually the first person no that put their genius on the production was a guy named
Okay.
Space Jones. And Space, he took my original,
Hmm.
I call it freedom writing. That was the 30-minute recording of just spontaneity. He took that recording and then sampled it. So those pants that you hear
Hmm.
at the beginning of the record are from the
Oh,
actual original worship
okay.
session that I had of me just doing this. So he took it, he sampled it, he sped it up, all these things. They even took my original guitar from that worship session and put and
Oh,
looped that
wow.
in the beat as well. So Space, yeah, so Space did that, and then my brother Israel came in and did that. Dun, dun,
That
dun,
one's
dun,
hard. That one's hard.
dun. Like yeah. Yeah, and then my other, he's not my blood brother, but I call him my brother, who's a producer. His name is Caleb Moten. He took the record and he's like he makes it like Sunday service. He puts like the marching band drums on there, and he just like he. And then my other brother from another mother, Stephen
Mhm.
Blake Kanika, he took all these synthesizers and just went off with the synthesizers. And so I let the
Have a
boys
field day.
have a field day on the record. Exactly. And so then from there, um, I like it just came out to what it is now. And like, yeah, so that's kind of like the origin story
And
of Just
and
Happy
it's
Having.
it's funny because as you're just talking through it, just hearing the humility in everything that you were saying, because you just casually mentioned, yeah, and then I was doing this with Kanye, and then he mentioned we should do that. For most people, just either being in the room with
Listen,
him, like talk about that experience. Like let's back up into that.
well, okay, so that's why I'm saying you have to not be afraid of beginning again, because I have made it to heights
Yeah.
in certain sectors, but it doesn't matter how high I've been in the writing room with Kanye. That does not translate if they have no clue who you are in gospel music, if they have no clue who you are in London, they have no clue who you are in the jazz arena. It's like it no matter which arena you go, some people only stay in the arena that they're known and that they conquered, and they don't have the humility to not be known or
Okay.
to not be, you know, uh, success. Like it takes, and so yeah, I mean, I've been around, like I've done some, done some things, but in gospel, I'm the emerging artist. You know what I mean? It's like it's the wait
And
your
and
turn, and it's
well,
will think about giving you an
I,
interview
I,
kind of
I
thing.
don't think anyone
It's
got a
all the
thing
things.
because trust me, it was a no-brainer for me when I saw you coming down the carpet. I was like, listen, we were all the way on this end. I'm like, I hope she's gonna turn this direction. I hope she's gonna come through. But no, I mean, mhm.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind earning
And
the
that's good.
trust of the
And
people.
that
So,
speaks to your character as well too,
yeah.
right? Of the fact of just saying, hey, you know what you're doing, you know what you're called to do, and you're gonna continue to do it just in that vein. But from a family perspective, being able to work and create with your family, and you guys are going on this path, knowing where you started from, you're just, busking, if that's the right word, in Central Park and in everywhere else. And then now you guys are going to Europe and you're traveling all over, you're about to kickstart your solo, additional leg of your solo tour. I want to have you touch a little bit on that, on some of the CDs that you're going to be on. And then, right after that, you're jumping right into, another tour as well. You'll touch on a few of those just now. But what is that feeling like, being there with family, knowing there's love, there's trust, just kind of being in that space, building and rising to higher heights together?
Yeah. Um, you know, it 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 was a challenge for me to make this transition where I am more focused on my individual calling, not in the context of my family. You know what I mean? Because when you grow up and everything is the unit and everything is the
Hmm.
collective mission, and then you become an adult, and it's like you have to find what you as an individual are responsible for stewarding and releasing in the world. That was not easy to
Yeah.
make that transition. Um, but before I made that transition, yeah, I mean, it, it was it was amazing. I mean, my favorite thing in the world was to compose just an amazing arrangement of some song with my brothers and sisters, and and then it's just so rich, like the harmonies and the and then taking it to the stage and every night like seeing people eat it up,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it that winning winning with the people that you were in the trenches with, there's nothing like it. And so yeah, that also made it more of a challenge to make that transition of, you know, focusing on my individual calling and message.
And I think that's key as well to what you mentioned, just from an individuality standpoint and understanding what you have to shepherd and bring into the world. And I think just kind of birth out there as well, because being signed to a big label, but still being able to keep your individuality and being able to not, be put in a box to say, hey, this is what's trending now. How about you go do this? How about you go do that? But still having that freedom just to, amongst everything else, still just be you and do what you're called to do as as yourself. Like, how does that feel? Does that kind of take the burden off a bit in the creative process, or do you still feel like, hey, I still have to deliver regardless of the fact, or just knowing you don't have to drift in one direction or another, but just kind of stay in the lane that you're in once you're entering into that creative flow?
Yeah, I have I have a unique situation where I'm able to take more creative chances, take more risks, um, than most people that are signed to labels. The thing with risks, though, is that there's no determining how it's going to translate in the
Mm,
market. You know, you
yeah,
because it's not proven. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know of another gospel artist or it on Rock Nation, or I
yeah,
don't know if, and even in gospel, I don't know of another artist that's doing
Yeah.
music the way that I am, it's very a lot of chances and unproven, like how do you collect data and so on something like this, to determine if you invest a lot, will there be a return? So for my label, because of that, you know, they're all about the freedom. However, a lot still lands on me to sustain. It's like I have to be the sustainer of my own freedom. And so for me, it's like I surrender a lot to the Lord and Him providing. Even for Glory Hour, like most of this album was done before they even got behind it, you know, which meant that a lot of it had to be self-funded. A lot of it either self-funded, or the people I was working with, a lot of like they gave me a break and didn't charge me as much. And so it's like, you know, um, you really it really just boils down to, you know, there's no perfect situation where you get everything. Either you get a lot of resources but you have little
Yeah.
freedom, or you get a lot of freedom but you have little resources. It's, you know, it's all the things, but you just, for me, it's I try to take the cards I'm dealt and and discern what what's the best that I can offer, um, with these things, with these cards
No, no,
that I'm dealt. And so,
no,
yeah,
you
I hope
did,
I
you did
answered your question.
100%. Because I know you also too. You opened up your own studio, right? Back in like 2020, 2021. You opened your own studio. And how would you say
Yeah.
now that kind of impact your creative freedom? Now that you have your own space just to kind of go sample, try different things.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
you
I closed
did.
down my
Okay.
studio
Oh,
in January
okay.
of this year, January of this year. But I had it for 3 years, and that was all through the pandemic. So it was everything that I needed, to be able to grow creatively, while the world was shut down anyway. Um, and so my studio was called The
Mhm.
Secret Place. And so really this album was born from The
Got it.
Secret Place. Uh, all the songs were written there. Even we recorded the album there. Most of the album was recorded there. And and so it was bittersweet, closing it down, but it's like it gave me Glory Hour, and Glory Hour is the offering that came
And and
from that
And what a
season.
great offering it is, because that's how I even got to know who you were and just everything else surrounding that. I know we're coming up a little bit on time here, but I want to also just kind of have you share. You have a whole lot going on right now. You know, you're about to kickstart, you know, another leg of your solo tour as well. So touch a little bit on that, and then also what you're going to be doing, some cities you're going to be on with Coline. You know, you're going to be joining Lauren Daigle on her Kaleidoscope tour as well. So what is that moment as well? Speaking of gospel, you know, joining in with her on that, just a, you know, reintroduction, if you may, to others that may not have even witnessed you live. So, you know, what can we expect, and how, you know, how is that, like, your thought process going into that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, for the Lauren Daigle tour, I I feel like I'm ready. You know, I feel like I've trained my whole life, and I'm really excited. I keep envisioning this moment of me singing Righteous, which was
Love,
one of
right?
the tracks
Yeah.
from my album. Yeah, in an arena. Like I get so excited every time I think about that idea, because I just want to see a whole arena of people just singing "Holy, Holy, Holy, Holy" over and over as we champion, uh, like what Jesus has done for us on the cross. And uh, it just, yeah, I'm, I'm gonna be living a dream when I do that. And I love um, yeah, I love Lauren, and thankful that for this opportunity that she gave me, and we actually went on tour with her
Okay.
several years ago.
Second time
So this is our
around. Okay.
second time
And I
partnering.
was just checking the schedule before this.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking, I'm like, where is there any New York stop? I know you're gonna be at the crypto arena. There's a bunch of other stops on the West Coast, and I'm still scanning through to see when is the New York stop, because definitely,
Oh yeah. Well, I'm coming through New York
yeah, yeah.
separately from that, but you'll those
Awesome. Well,
dates will be posted
once
very
you're
soon.
posted, I'm definitely going to be jumping on those for sure, 100%, so we can be able to get in the building. And one last line I'm going to ask you here before you kind of give us everyone your social, and if you want to sing something for us, you can. If you don't, you're about to go on tour. I'm not gonna push in that line, but there was a line that said that you wrote a lyric in a song you wrote. I don't have to pretend, cause I have a savior that intimately care. If you see me crying, I'm being truth about what I'm going through. So even when I'm listening, because I listened to the album at least twice today, and as I'm going back through, I felt like that moment right there was very transparent. It was very intimate, and you kind of like just bared it all, like you just put forward with it right there. Just touch a little bit on that, like on what was it that the message in there, but kind of where were you at that time when writing that?
Yeah, I took a lot of time rewriting that section of this song. I was trying to pinpoint a very specific thing. Um, I was trying to answer this question, like, why why is it not, like, why is it true that we don't have to um carry, why is it true that the weight of the weight of depression, the weight of trials are not ours to carry? That's the question. Why is this true? Because the common thing is for us to carry whatever burdens are our responsibility, whether it be our families or, our needs. If you get sick, that's your burden to carry. If you get, if you go through a breakup, that's your pain to carry. If you, all these different things. Why is it true that these are not our burdens to carry? And I was trying to figure out, like, okay, yeah, I could say in a sentence that it's like Jesus, it's Jesus's job to carry these burdens. Like, yeah, I could say it in a sentence, but how do I say it in a way that helps people get the picture? Like, that helps people really grasp that this is not your weight. Like, that helps people surrender this weight. And so I'm like, I need to answer this question in like these few lines and inside of this melody. It like I it's very specific. I kept writing and rewriting. I'm like, there's a better way to answer the question. There's a better way to answer the question. There's a better way to, and like I it took me a few months, but I finally got it. It's like, why should I carry this weight? Why should I suffer when I have a Savior who intimately cares for my sake? That took me a minute to narrow down. I don't have to, because I have a Savior who intimately cares for my sake. Not only does he care, he intimately cares. So even the little things, I don't have to, because he intimately cares for me. You know, um, what was the other one? So it's, why should I carry this weight? Why should I suffer? Um, forgetting the lyrics to my own song. But yeah, that was, and so like, but that part took me a long time to nail. But before finishing that part, the bulk of the song happened when my dad had COVID and he almost passed away. He had
Oh
COVID
wow.
and pneumonia at the same time. And yeah, and he made it, like he made it. He was we weren't sure. We weren't sure. It was getting very, very
Mm,
uh dark. And and so and then when he got out of the hospital, we were all happy. We went to go be with him. And then
mm,
and then I got COVID, which I was fine. I recovered. But while I had COVID, that's when I wrote that second verse that says, "Breathe life and death. I need you to resurrect this heart from the depths. One touch from you is all I request. Plead my case. I pour my complaints here at the altar."
wow.
And so yeah, it's like, yeah, just different eras
Yeah,
of my
and
life.
and and that's it's funny enough you said that it took some time and months when you keep rewriting that because like you could tell a lot of effort. Not a lot of effort was put into the entire album, but that's why I jotted down that piece. It just stuck out at me. I'm like, there's something about this piece right here that just it came in really heavy, and that's really great to hear. Just even the backstory from that. So thank you for that again. Even thank you for for hopping on, for talking to us. I'm gonna have you give your social. I saw a few people mention sing, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna put any pressure on you. If you feel like it, by all means. I mean, I know you're not busted anymore, but
Oh, but I'm
All
I'm
right.
always ready in the same fashion. Hmm, what should I sing? It's like five different songs came to mind. Uh, oh, I'll do a hymn of some sort. Um, this one. Okay. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer that calls me from a world of care and bids me at my Father's throne, makes all my wants and wishes known. In seasons of despair and grief, my soul has often found relief at thy return. Mm-mm-mm-mm. At thy return, sweet hour of prayer.
Ah, wow. Oh my goodness. Everyone is saying yes. It's part of magic. See the hand emoji, a few crying hearts. Listen, you just bless the people on today. You just completely just wow. Thank you
Amen.
so much, man. I mean, it's so great just speaking with you. I love the way how you didn't just answer the question yes, no, but you give the backstory. You kind of was just, very open and very authentic with just sharing your journey and everything else. So I completely appreciate you. Let the people know your socials and just where they can catch up. You're going to be on tour. You're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff closing out the year. Looking at dates going all the way to like, what is that, December 9th, 10th almost. You're going all the way to the end of the year. So they have some city that they can come out and witness you live. So where can they kind of caught up on everything that's happening?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. You put the lyrics that I missed right there. Thank you for that. Okay. So I'm gonna be on tour starting end of August and throughout September. And then October, no, and then November and December, all throughout the last 2 months of the year. And so if you just go to victoryboyd.com, you'll be able to see all the dates, but also a lot of new dates are being added as we speak. And so if you don't see a city near you just yet, be patient. I'll be announcing new dates as they come. And if you follow me on social media, you'll hear all of those announcements. And you can just follow me at Victory Boyd on any of
Hear
these social media
that, y'all.
platforms.
Victory Boyd on any social media platform. Check out the website. Shout out to everyone that came in. Pastor C, Mita from Sirius XM Radio. Mita, what's going on? Yes, yes, everyone. A lot of
Hey,
questions
Mita.
there, but no, again, thank you so much, Victory, for hanging with us for the last hour or so. Didn't realize it was an hour already, but thank you for spending time with us. Again, I'm happy we got a chance to meet in person at the Stellar Awards. Enjoy your amazing weekend ahead, and hopefully once you come through New York, we'll definitely be in the building. Thanks again, appreciate you.
You're
All right,
very
take care.
welcome. Thank you,
Bye.
Sherwin. Take care. All right. Bye.
Y'all, we just got a nice little conversation there with Victory Boyd. Listen, y'all go check out that project, Glory Hour, man. Glory Hour is not a project you're going to just listen to one time. Will the life be on replay? Yeah, I'll save the life. Yeah, this is not a project you'll listen to one time. You're going to want to listen to it. You're going to want to listen to it again. And even the spoken word pieces, the introductions, everything in between. You're going to enjoy that. Doug, what's happening, my brother? Again, I'm Sherwin with Gospel Music Buzz. This is another edition of Behind the Music. So thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms and have a great weekend, y'all. Take it easy.